as you feel the texture under your palms and leave this current time and space, you know that when you walk through this door, you'll be in a completely different timeline, getting all the answers that you need. So now I want you to open up that door. Here you go. And step on through. Tell me, where are you?
I'm in the abyss, yet I want to go back behind the door because the door has all transcribes that I need to interpret. So I step out into nothing and everything that is connected, yet I'm feeling the door.
Okay, so what we're going to do, I want you to turn around to where the door is that you stepped through, and there's a magic button on the side. And when you push that button, the door can absolutely turn right around like a revolving door. So the inside will be on the outside and the outside will be on the inside, so that you're going to be able to read what's on that door and know what it says. Let me know when you do that.
The one side of the door is completely smooth and the other side has ancient writings. And I can feel it on my fingertips.
Yes.
And it's hieroglyphics.
Wonderful.
And I'm being shown that some of it is ready to be spoken of, some of it not. So as I rub my fingers over the side, both sides of the door, my fingers are lighting up like little lights.
Yes.
There is inscriptions, transcribes, scrolls, all coming together in one. And as my fingers are rolling over, there's more strength, there's more power that my body's feeling and generating. But this is for the collective, the message is for the collective.
And that knowledge is all stored in those scripts and hieroglyphs, is that correct?
This is correct, yes.
So how long has that knowledge been there for?
Millions and millions and millions and millions of years.
And tell me, does anybody have access to that knowledge? How does it work?
Jesus does. The fractals of the collective, the fractals of Jesus, when they touch these doors, these transcribes, there is an old sensation that is felt within the fingertips, and it reignites the bodies. The bodies remember, the minds remember what needs to be said, what needs to be shown.
So is it like a storage system of knowledge?
It is a vault of knowledge.
A vault.
A vault.
So where do they store this vault as such? How do you access it?
within the pyramids, deep, 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 deep down, they are buried. They are buried with the gods, with the pharaohs. And certain mummies have these inscriptions with them. They are fossilized. They are not yet meant to be found.
Yes.
Yet there will be a time where they will be found. And so much will be unlocked. So much will be shown to the collective.
So when these do get unlocked, what changes then will occur with the collective?
There will be more inner peace. There will be more outer peace. There will be shock waves that will be throwing humanity off. And what we mean by be throwing humanity off is that there is, even before this discovery takes place, there will be many, 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 many humans and many souls that will be ascending. Many humans will be leaving their physical bodies and will go back into the microcosmic, the we are showing Michelle right now that it is as if these humans that will be leaving will be returning to a cellular form, a memory, the star system, the planets will be reorganizing the alignment of what needs to be addressed. Many, many other forms of beings. And right now we are showing Michelle a massive spaceship with a massive light that is coming down over Mother Earth. And as this light is coming down, many humans will vibrate. Many humans will shake. Many humans will change. This is a time where those that have ascended, those that have united together in what many humans are showing, that it is a time of reconnection, yet at the same time, it is a time of letting go of all old thought forms, all ways of what science has shown individuals. Even those that work with fossils will be mesmerized and amazed at what is going to be found. Other beings of light are here to help this process. They are showing individuals like Michelle, yourself, Jill, Alba, Laura, Shahira, Belinda, and there are many, many, many other humans that are ascending. And what we mean by ascending is that it is the visual of rebuilding the spine from the hips, which is a solid structure, to the sacrum, to the L5, L4, L3, L2, L1. And as the spine is being rebuilt, as the spine is becoming stronger within the body, the ascending is happening. Yet there has been many projections of fear coming through these portals of light, as you know, Jill. And this is not a time for one to be fearing what has been shown within the human plane. This is a time to remember what the slaves built in Egypt. How is it humanly possible to think how those structures were built? It is as if the minds cannot comprehend. Yet, in this unlocking at this time, and we are showing Michelle right now that this will be happening in the years of 2025 to 2030. There will be many, many, many discoveries. There will be many, many earthly shifts. There will be many, many, many vibrations. There will be many, many, many humans leaving as the shift is happening, as there is this moment in time where humans need to slow down. Humans have been wanting more, more. And in the wanting more, it is created what we would term greed, power, hence the struggle and the vibration of what Mother Earth has been feeling is what humans would think is creating chaos, yet it is not. It is re-vibrating, recalibrating, re-knowing, the letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Hence, in the re-vibrating, many, 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 many Old Testaments will come to light. We hope this makes sense.
Yes, it does. You know, when you speak about the shift, is this going to be a physical shift?
100% yes. It is as if when the meteorite hit Mother Earth and everything became dark. And we are not saying this to create a time of fear. As Mother Earth will not become dark, there is not a meteorite that is going to be hitting as it did many, 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 many eons ago. This is a recalibration. And in the physical, there are far too many humans that have been created and 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 created. Hence the shift of the consciousness has been forgotten. And now again, as we mentioned how the spine is being rebuilt, this is how humanity is rebuilding itself. as humans, have gotten stuck on too many physical, too many materialistic. The beings of light that are out there, the beings of light that we are, how do humans think that we exist? We do not eat much. We do not drink much water. We live on our breath. We live on the microcosmic. We live on the organisms that are out there. Yet humans have what we would term too much greed, wanting too much. And this is not good nor bad. This is a time of collapsing governments, collapsing buildings, the fires that are creating the devastation, the clearing, the wiping out, is rebuilding newness, as if and when you look at a fire has cleansed, sprouts of green come through the darkness, come through the ashes, come through the black. Hence, this is how the sprouting will happen, one grass seedling at a time.
So thank you for that. You know, Michelle has actually reached a point in her evolution where she's becoming more aware of her abilities and how she can help people. And the thing is, she gives a lot and then she goes into collaborations with people and then realizes that as much as she loves it, she really needs to be more flexible and prefers to be her own person as such. She doesn't want to get lost in others. And she spoke to me just before we started the session as an example, like Esther Hicks, who is able to gather crowds together and just channel and chat and help the collective. So is this something that Michelle will be doing?
This is correct. This is a time of her noticing her abilities and gifts that have been gifted to her. As you know, Jill, there are many beings of light that have come down in human form. You are one of them. Michelle is one of them. Elba is one of them. Laura is one of them. And in these abilities of what has been gifted to you all individually, these are now the times of where other humans will be searching for your gifts of light. And we send her the messages, and as she is beginning to accept her abilities and gifts, as she is not, she does not show up on one timeline. She shows up on many. She too is very gifted in the abilities of transcendence. It is almost as if she morphs at times into others' energy fields. And it is now a time for you and her collectively to find ways in which to protect your light. Now, what we mean by this is, how does a human being protect their lights? As where the light becomes brighter and brighter, it is a time to learn to discern And you have experienced this yourself, Jill. And hence, in the talkings that you and Michelle have, in the openness of your friendship, in the dynamics of your relationships, is how you are both learning from one another. And we are sending more and more and more human beings that are in need of your guidance equally. And in the guidance that is being given, the shifts are happening, the healings are happening. And it is as if you are both consciously aware that you are dealing with one-on-ones right now. Yet the time is coming, as you are already aware of speaking to the masses. And the masses are ready to hear what she has to say. And as we are talking through her, she knows the gifts that have been given to her. And it is not time to hide underneath or beneath the umbrellas anymore of what other people expect of both her and you. It is time to let go of the old and re-embrace the new.
Very good. Thank you for that. So when we started, she was coming through the door, basically the door of knowledge, where the knowledge was stored, that she would be able to glide her palms across that and her fingers would light up with little lights, and she would be able to see all the knowledge that was in the vault. If you had to take her back there now and let her start running her palm over that door and having it light up specifically on one portion that would be important for her at this stage, could you please direct her to that particular spot of knowledge in the vault so that she can now unlock it and use it for what she needs to know at this time?
Let go of others' opinions. Let go of what does not serve you no longer. Again, we refer to the time of how slaves built the pyramids and the Sphinx. How is it that those men individually carried those blocks, those huge concrete blocks? They had an inner strength and an outer strength that she carries. And it is okay to let go of what other people's opinions are of her. And in the letting go, her light will shine brighter.
Now, she's been speaking about Egypt and the excitement that she carries when she speaks about going to visit Egypt. And what is it? What is the role that she will be playing when she gets to Egypt?
You and her both will be leading an exhibition. You will be leaders and there will be followers. And this is not an egotistical moment. It is a very real moment in time where you will both be channeling old ancient history, old ancient beings. There will be light language that will be coming out of your mouths that will not be understood by many, but will be understood by many. There will be a lot that will be unlocked within these times 2025 is when you will be going to the forefront. And in leading this group, they will be looking for your ancient wisdom, both of you equally, because you both hold keys to unlock many, 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 many portals. And there will be portals of where we will guide you to, of where the unlocking will happen. There will be chanting, there will be channeling, there will be vibration of letting go. There will be merely healings that will take place at this time. There will be a big group that will follow you both. At least 100 to 1,000 people that will want to join you. And what we would ask is that you are the ones that will create this dynamic for the following to happen. Do you remember, Jill, when you were keen to go to Israel to follow Greg Braden,
Yes.
Joe Dispenza, and these incredible humans? They too are light beings who are sharing their wisdom, their knowledge. Hence, these are the masses that will follow you and Michelle to Egypt. And it will be a massive group. And you will need help for people to help you organize this massive following. And the channelings that will come out of your mouths, the energy that will be intense and powerful. Will be unlocking many, many humans. At the same time, many souls that have been stuck within those pyramids. So this is time for preparation. This is time for the seed planting. This is time for organizing. October 2025 is we would like to offer that date, as then it is not so incredibly hot. And being in the heat, a lot will be released in the cells. It will be a milder heat. Shahira will be a guide, one of your guides, and she too will build a team. This is a time for preparation. This is a time for you and Michelle to collaborate as to how you see and want this to be experienced. There will be many moments of being free time, yet in the coming together, the vibration, the sun will shine down deeply. The sun will be felt in everybody's hearts. There will be openings within the portals of the heart. And we would ask for you both to speak freely, not only within the pyramids, not only within the land, but in the networking of bringing a group together, this group together, so that there can be knowledge that can be shared, unlockings that can happen and will happen. So we are giving you 2 years to prepare. March or October are the 2 dates that we are planting as a seed. March 2025 or October 2025. It is time to start putting your armor on. It is time to start building yourselves individually as you already are. No more, Jill, no more, Michelle, not asking for help from one another as you are. That is an old, deep-seated lack that sits within both of you. And yet we have brought you together to help one another in this lifetime, as you do it with joyousness for one another.
Thank you. So the collective at the moment are struggling with the viral, let's call it a viral load that everybody is actually carrying. What is this actually all about?
We want to laugh at this question, as there has been so much that has been downloaded into the brain. It is almost as if every individual's brain has had a drill. And as they are drilling into the pineal gland, many humans have transcended. Many humans have kept the drill within their brain. And yet, this is a time, this is a moment, this is a flip. It is as if you are taking a page from a book and you are on one page or a double page, and people keep rereading the same script, 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 which brings about the same vibration, the same vibration, the same vibration. Yet if you turn the page, it is clear, it is open. This was a very necessary time in humanity, in the collective, to find a way of coming together, to find a way of letting go of the old, to find a way to breathe, to re-find their breath. This was a time where governments are being brought down to their knees, as that intense power, that intense greed was being held on to energetically. And now, poof, 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 poof. It is simple as that breath that is coming off Michelle, that this is being dissolved, and this is being dissolved, and this is being dissolved. It was a time for clearing. It was a time for humans to stand back and say, what is it we do want? What is it that we are in this together for? Some people collectively wear their masks as it is an honoring of others. Others are choosing not to wear their masks. Others are choosing to have this prick in the arm. That is as simple as what it is. Others are choosing to not have it. There is no wrong in this equality of what is happening, as everyone is connected. Everyone has and is making decisions that some feel good, some don't feel good. Some are not playing their roles as what one would term sheep. Some are following, as sheep do in the fields. Yet others are choosing to eat differently on the field. As you are aware, Jill, they are finding their voices. Many, many humans are finding their voices behind these masks. It is a time of unity. It is a time of standing up, not in fight and in struggle, in harmony, in synchronicity for one another, in love for one another. In clearing, we are showing Michelle the time where the man who went onto the moon, the first man, and how he placed a flag. Yet the moon does not belong to anybody, does it? It is the moon, and she has her own vibration. Yet she was claimed. Well, so they thought that she had been claimed. Yet it was a moment in history, and this is a moment in history. It is a story that keeps being recircled and recircled and recircled, hence the pages. People get stuck on reading the same page. This will be done in the next 6 months to 1 year, as humans want time. It will be done. It will be past. It will be poof, energetically in the scripts of where we are and what we are showing each individual that are receiving the downloads. It is a time of togetherness. It is a time of showing up for one another. It is a time of humans being there, being strong for one another. And as we have mentioned, governments will fall. It will look differently, completely different as to what the expectation of how they will fall. The energy is transcending. The energy is transmuting. The energy is shifting. And as we are shaking Michelle's hands, it is happening. Yet it is in the vibration of the heart, the coherence of how can we love ourselves more? How can we love and accept others more? Including your New Zealand Prime Minister. This woman wasn't born into this world being mean, being hard, being cold, being intense. She has been programmed for this very role. She has been programmed to show up in a certain way. Yet if others had to see her as a mother, they would realize that she is and has a heart. Yet the way people speak of this woman is the vibration of what she is battling with. As all those mean, harsh words being called the devil, the darkness, is going towards her. Now, if we were to say to you, Jill, and to Michelle, how could you bless her with white light? The white of the shirt, the white of this duvet cover. Would that not be a better energy to send to this woman? She has been like a woodpecker pecks wood. She has been pecked at and pecked at and pecked at. And her heartbeat is waning. Her heart is sad. Her heart is, what we are showing Michelle is a picture of a dried prune. The energy of your heart is not beating. In a way, when somebody is healthy, it is as if the life force has been drained out of her, as she has been picked at and picked at and picked at. And we are sharing this with you as we are wanting this message to go out. As we know, as we know that you have a voice, Jill, you have a strong voice, and you have thousands and thousands and thousands of people that listen to you, that hear you. So please ask your question.
So this pecking, I was always told that whatever the energy is that you give out is exactly what you receive. Is she receiving the pecking because she has been pecking others as such? There are so many families and friends that have now been divided because of the instructions that she has implemented. So is she then reaping what she has sown? So now it is up for us to now realize this and stop that going any further, and then opening up our hearts and saying, in actual fact, we don't wish to do the same.
Well, yes, you have many different feelings in that statement, that question alone, Jill. And again, it is building the spine. Yet at the same time, if you look at the energy of what has transcended within the continents of the world, it is as if it is the domino effect. And if you build thousands or millions of dominoes that line up, all it takes is one, does it not, to start the dominoes to let go and to knock over the other dominoes. And the domino effect has been happening and happening and happening and happening. This woman that you are speaking of has played a pawn. She has played a role in this domino effect. And she too is falling over, as that's what happens. Within the energy, the dominoes fall, and then they lie flat until they are built up again, do they not? Or until they are stood up. So each of you are playing your roles. As Michelle decided to go and have herself vaccinated, as she is making choices that, and please, we want you to know, it was a conscious choice in her decision. Many, as they do, are led unconsciously, are they not?
Correct.
As many are followers. Hence, we bring you to the example of when you go to Egypt. You are the leaders and you will have followers. Yet in the following, you will not create people to be numb. You will be creating people to stand up for themselves in their own way, with open hearts, with loving one another more, with contributing to each other more, with kindness, with more compassion, as hence that is what this woman and many of the leaders of the world have forgotten. And yet, if you look at the stages and the days of the Vikings, they were always leaders, were they not? When there were wars happening, and many were standing with their bows and arrows, and many were standing with their shields, you had one man that was standing saying, wait, 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 wait. And the next minute the one man would say, ready, fire! And then the firing would happen. The bows and arrows would be shot. Hence, this is still within the energy of what is being transmuted. As humans have loved having leaders, as humans love to be followers. And now many, 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 many humans are standing up for what feels good in themselves, in their selves, in their souls. Each of you are a domino, and each of you are playing your parts and this effect. And yes, to go back to what you are saying, what you are feeling, every cell remembers, every cell has been ported, every cell can jump onto a different timeline. Every cell can come back into this body, into this knowing. And as the shift is happening vibrationally, spiritually, the rebuilding is happening. Yet each individual has their stories, do they not, Jill?
Yes.
Each individual gets caught up in the stories, in the so-called conspiracy theories, in the so-called what it's meant to look like. What do we want for ourselves individually? It is the stories, the illusions that are being created at this time, in these times. Did Jesus not go onto the cross? Was he
Well,
not
some
hammered?
people say yes, some people say no.
Absolutely. So hence, how many people are questioning the stories in the Bible? How many people know what is the truth for them? Yet as religions, yet as governments, yet as individuals, yet as beings of light, they are all leaders and followers, leaders and followers, followers and leaders. And it's all you individually finding a point in time where you all individually say, what does my heart say? And what yet all of you, including the leaders of the world, have forgotten about is, how can we make ourselves feel good? Hence, diets have been going on for centuries, have they not?
Yes.
And yet it is still a multi-billion-dollar industry. Hence,
Why
people
are
have
people so slow
forgotten.
to learn?
Well, we would ask that. Are they really slow to learn? Or are they learning at a slower pace? Some humans are incredibly gifted and incredibly bright. Yet, it is in the evolution. It is as if we would say to you, Jill, if we gave you one of those old boxed computers where it took a long time to type up your book, where it took a long time to put in a disk and copy the disk. Now you have computers that get it. Humans are sometimes slower in their learning, yet it is in the projection of the mind. As not one human's heartbeat is different to any others. Humans beat at a similar pace, except if you are running, it will beat faster. Except if you are cycling, it will beat faster. Except if you are skiing, it will beat even more faster. And yet at the same time, when a human goes into a space of numbness, the heart beats, yet the body can't go anywhere. So it is in the letting go of judgment. Everything as you know it is changing. Everything as you know to be true is shifting.
And with this shifting and this changing, Michelle has had such a big change in her life because her mum has departed. What did Michelle most need to learn, or rather, even use the word experience, with the passing of her mum?
She's had to learn to be in the moment and allowing the emotions with no self-judgment. She's had to be feeling more into her heart center, and she still has individuals that will send her a message or phone her and say to her, "You are in your thoughts today. Go into your heart space." She is learning to be in a space through the experience of grieving a parent. She knew what was coming. She sensed it, she felt it. And now she's giving herself time to heal her heart. And she's experiencing deep loss, deep loneliness, deep sadness in this time. And at the same time, as the observer, as the wise person that she is, it is observing others. And in her journey of doing the work that we are asking her to do, she is relearning. So it is all one of the same quantum energy. It is all one. Yet again, it is in the feeling and the feelings of the allowing of this tremendous loss of this woman who gave birth to her. And this is a time of where the contract needs to be burnt, dissipated into the energies. Letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go.
You know, I've got to say that I loved it when you said we're building the back as such, strengthening the vertebra, because there's a saying that you have that humans love. It's called, they need to grow a backbone. In actual fact, to all of us are individuals. So why is it that one individual needs so much support and yet another has strength, although they have had such adversity themselves? So this is now a time for backbones, right?
Yes. So in this transmission, in this download, what we are showing Michelle right now is how easy it is to give out yet come back. As in communication to her son, she said and communicated she was going into a session, yet he lives in the moment, and yet he lives in his world. And in his world, what's important is important to him. So he walked in and she showed him a hand. He can see that she is talking. He can see that you are talking. Yet in his moment, in his life, in his heart, in his brain, what he wants to share is important. And we are sharing this example as this is what happens with each individual, Jill. Each person has been raised the way that they have. Each person has their own conditions, their own programmings. And again, it is ancestrally ingrained in them, the energy that has been carried. Sometimes, as you are aware in the work that you do, there are lifetimes of energy that is within one's body. Correct?
Correct.
So, it is very much about rebuilding. It is very much about, and we find this an interesting point in the session, where it is very much about rebuilding one another. would you not say that in this time of this virus that has been spread, that it is about rebuilding Mother Earth? It is about reconnecting to oneself. It is about rebuilding each other. It is about rebuilding governments that are no longer seen as governments who are protective of their people. Hence, the Twin Towers came down, as they were highly regarded as a very important moment in history within New York, within the skyline. And as people do, as humans do, so those Twin Towers will never be rebuilt. As humans get stuck on the memories, the heartache of what happened, yet there is a rebuilding that has happened within that time, from that time. And these are the moments, these are the timelines that happen, that create the devastation. As it is a devastating when multiple souls leave. It is as if the heart feels constrained, constricted. And when multiple souls leave, there is a rebuilding that happens. Does this make sense?
Yes, and I was just thinking about that. When you rebuild something, and you can't rebuild anyone else unless you come from a strong base yourself, because otherwise what you're going to give out is going to be like jello and jelly. It's just going to wobble. But you need to have a strong base, correct?
Yes, this is correct. Well, how would you walk, Jill? If your hips were unaligned, you would walk with a limp, would you not?
Yes, and many people are limping through life because I've just thought about this. If you haven't got a solid base as your foundation, and yet, as in Michelle's case, where she's had a lot to deal with herself, but she's been giving and giving not only to others, but specifically to certain family members, then that will surely put a load on one side. And as I've realized, and Michelle realizes, she's been having knee problems. So could you speak of this, please?
Well, many times in the rediscovering of the joint, it does not click and walk backwards and click and walk backwards and click and walk backwards. The body moves forward. And there have been many times where Michelle has not energetically felt like walking forward. She feels like she wants to crumble and be in a ball. And as you are aware of many of her internal traumas, internal heartaches, her internal downfalls that she has had within this one lifetime, she is now rebuilding herself. She is not having such a click within her knees, as that has been the stagnant energy
Yes.
within her knees. Clicking, 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 clicking. And the more she is working with her own internal, interesting, we said in turmoil, not internal,
Yes.
in turmoil, as she has had a lot of in turmoil. And now she's letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. And the in turmoil that has been internal is shifting to a softer vibration, a softer letting go. And now she's starting to walk forward with a difference within her vibration of her knees. So it is the internal programming of not feeling good enough, not being enough. And these are many times where you have both laughed with one another and at one another, in how you both roll your eyes as you see the light in each other. And others may not see it in the same way that you both do, and that is okay. It is something that Michelle's husband said to her a few days ago, that those that have, for want of a better statement, excelled at life, been different, created immense amount of prosperity and abundance, they have been lights, yet they have been lonely lights. They have not had moths flying around them. They have been alone in their journey, in their knowing, in their building of their spines. Now, you and Michelle are created differently, as we are showing humans that it does not have to be done alone. We are showing humans like yourselves who are light in your energies within your hearts that we want the light to bring the moths who love the warmth. You see, Jill, it's not only about the light, it's about the warmth. And it's in the warmth of the heart. It's in the warmth, in the feeling of the body within the knees, where the energy changes, where the healing happens. It is how you make others feel. It is that simple. And many, many humans have forgotten.
Well, let's get that need to feel good again. What I'm going to request now from the council that works with Michelle and talking through her today is to do a massive change history. I want you to ground all the parts that have affected and touched that knee and any other body parts. And I want you to please include the memories of not only this lifetime, but previous lifetimes. And we will ask for a change history. Please ground them, tag them, and treat all parts and memories and emotions that have been seen and experienced till this moment, and reinforce those memories with positive beliefs and positive emanations and positive emotions that are now going to support Michelle and move her into a brighter now and a brighter future. And as you do this, could you please explain to me what is happening with the body part that we name as humans a knee or knees?
Well, there are many physical changes that are happening in her energy right now.
Right.
So we are allowing the body to change, to shift, to do what it needs to do. And the building is happening within the tissues and the blood vessels and the cells, and the letting go and the letting go. And we are showing Michelle what each cell looks like. We are showing her how each cell has a deep blue light. Yet around it, the neurotransmitters have been black, and we need to shift that. Michelle knows how to do this.
Well, could you please just assist her on this day at this time?
We sure can.
Thank you.
The shifting is happening. The clarity is clear. The cells are now one, and they are talking to one another once again. And the cushioning in between the knee, both knees, is where the change is happening.
Good.
As the cushion is exactly where the intensity of the vibration has been. It has been in the grinding, in the grinding, in the grinding. And now it's in the expansion, as in how she has moved even to this new town, Jill, which has not been the easiest for her and her family. Yet it was in the expansion of her energy where this has taken place. Many humans like to stay in their comfort zone. Many humans do not like change. Yet this couple have been through immense change, and now their time, and we feel this is important, as we know when the break in transmission happened between the two of you and you reconnected, how Michelle had gone into an old programming, an old way of her words, an old feeling. Yet the intensity between this couple is now leveling out, and it is becoming more harmonious, and there will be more tenderness and kindness as they have just been going, intense. And it is an explanation of what happened and has happened on a cellular level within the vibration of the body. Most South Africans that have left in the last 10 to 15 years from their beloved country have experienced a massive amount of trauma, Jill. And we see you and Michelle going back to South Africa one day to go and help there with the collective consciousness, with the land, with the safaris that you had planned, Jill. As that is in the time, that is being held right now. Michelle may be going back within this year to South Africa. And we are planting the seed as it is time to head there to be with those people, her people, to help the healing. So much of where you and Michelle are at in your timelines, in your lives, Jill, are about healing the masses. And we know that this is a huge responsibility. We know and feel that this can be where you both take yourselves into alignment, into the inner strength that you both have. And it is, we want you to know, not a burden. It is a sense of purpose in helping millions. And we are upholding you. We are holding you. We are creating the inner strength, the inner courage for both of you to do this work. You are not alone, as you are aware.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's wonderful to get a little bit of support. We're human and we forget. We know that we've got you guys there and we appreciate it, but we do always forget it, and sometimes we do feel very alone, and that's when we get on the phone with each other and we go huck, 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 and chat, and that's the way it is. Now, who are we actually speaking with today with all this beautiful information?
Josiah.
Josiah.
Mandela. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, and anybody else, or just Josiah?
No, Nelson Mandela.
And Nelson Mandela.
Gandhi.
And Gandhi.
Mother Mary.
Yes.
Magdalene. Daniel.
So it's quite a party.
This is how we show up in the collective. And we are, as you are aware, in humanness, we are the force together. We speak collectively in our energies together as we are ascended masters in the work that we are wanting to happen on the earth. And the more we are, just as you and Alba have come together, you and Michelle have come together, you, Michelle and Laura, you, Michelle and Shahira, you, Michelle, Alba and Shahira and Laura and Belinda, and all those humans that are coming together collectively, Jill, to guide and help one another. This is what we do too.
Okay, that just sounds wonderful. Well, seeing as we've just got such a great group together and we're having such a lovely chat, I wonder if you can bring through the energy now of Michelle's mum, Veronica, so she can have a communication and a Holy Communion with her now.
There is not much talking that will happen between Michelle and her mum. There is a deep sense of connection within the heart, as Michelle has received all the answers that she is requesting today.
Right.
So we are holding her mother's essence, and as the essence of the magic, she is feeling it in her heart center. There is not much sadness that needs to be felt. Yet we are guiding Michelle to write her book. We are guiding Michelle to send more messages out there in terms of the grieving that happens when one loses a parent, regardless of how the parent raised the child. As you are aware, the forgiveness has been a massive part of Michelle's upliftment. So we are holding her mother, that her name was Veronica, and she is being surrounded with petals of love and kindness. And all that she is deserving of. As this woman, this kind human, underestimates her value in this world.
So what does Veronica tell Michelle today about the husband and the son and the sons that she's left behind? How she could best deal with that situation? Is there anything that Michelle needs to actually do?
To love them more, accept them for where they're at, as they are refinding what they need from one another. And Daddy will strengthen, grow stronger. I was a huge burden on him, and he knows that. Yet he is learning to forgive himself in my leaving. And in your love, Michelle, with your love, it will grow him. It will help him to feel stronger. Let Grant be for now. Let him be on his own path, his own journey. Just be there as best as you can for your father, as he is reconnecting on a deep soul level with not only himself, but his injustices in this life. And you can help him and guide him with your kindness and your compassion and your love, and help him to forgive himself. That is it.
Thank you, Veronica. And Veronica, where are you actually at the moment? If you could describe to us what it feels like in the space that you act.
I am
Those earthlings.
I am in a golden city of lights. I am in the 9th dimension. And we are all earthly beings, or once were all earthly beings, who have gathered here in this 9th dimension. And it is a dimension of a gathering. It is a dimension where, if we had to give the example of the Kimberley, the hole in Kimberley, that is how it looks visually. But it is not dark. It is a holding space where we are held. And in this place of golden lights, we are humans, yet we are not humans. And we are all communicating with one another, as we are the humans that have left in this time, in these last 2 years. And we are being held in the universal energy, in the universal light. And when the time happens for us, we go back into the ethers, as if, in the visual that we are giving Michelle, when fire makes embers, that is how and when we leave this holding space.
And what do you do in that holding space? How do you fill your time? These are just human questions.
We talk, we collaborate, we laugh, we be.
Do you assist anyone? Do you, like from there, or are you just in a resting place as such?
We do, as we are being called upon, we do. For those that are not being called upon, they are holding space. For those of us that are being called upon, as I am now, we are felt, we are sensed, yet we are held. And we are here to help with the healings.
Thank you. So any last words for your daughter today?
She felt misunderstood by me for her whole entire life. And I was in so much pain and suffering for such a long time. And her light at times was too bright. I so wanted to be like her. And I was mesmerized at times as to how, throughout her pain and suffering and her rejection and abandonment by many, including myself, how she still smiles and has found the joy. I felt her up until my very last breath. And I thank her for choosing me in this life. I'm here now in a stronger place, in a stronger sense, to give her the guidance that she is needing. And I thank her for being the warrior of light that she is. And I did not say it often enough, but I have loved this child. And I leave her with that.
Thank you so much. So now, back to the collective. What is it that you would like to tell Michelle for her next step forward in doing the work that she so loves?
We would like her to put her Find Your Joy online, where she can work with individuals and groups. And this will be a live course, a 2-day course. And we would honor her in sharing more of her journey, of her grieving, of her life, of her story. As you got the download, Jill, of sharing other stories, this is her time, this is her year to share the real stories, the real successes, the real noticings, the real awarenesses, the real feelings of people that have been on their own journeys of self-love and self-healing.
Now, before we finish this session, often most of the time I don't have all the answers, and Michelle certainly doesn't, but I know that you guys always know what it is that we need to know at this time. So what is it that Michelle should have asked, or I should have asked on her behalf, that I didn't, that could help her the most at this time?
The unlocking, we are showing a massive big key to a massive big door.
Yes.
And the unlocking is happening. The unlocking of the voice, the unlocking of the heart, the unlocking of so much. And each time the connection is being felt and heard and listened to, the change in the vibration happens. Yet it is in the feelings of being human, being human. And we are delivering this in a soft, gentle tone as who is human, and who is spirit, and who is light, and who are light workers. It is different tiers, different steps that you are all taking towards upgrading, enlightenment, letting go, all similar vibration. We thank you.
Thank you so much for being here for Michelle today, and for myself as well. Seems like we've got quite a bit of work ahead.
Yes, there is work to be done. There is work within the work within the work. Yet it is in the joy of the work that is being experienced that is different. And we are collectively helping you all individually. We are collectively showing up. And please know that you are all teaching us as we are teaching you. So above, so below. As above, as below. As a low, as a high, as a high, as a low. It is all energy, it is all vibration.
So all interactions, how fabulous. Now, as I have been navigating the session today, I really feel that there's so much information here for humanity. Do you think that this is a session that actually should be shared on my YouTube channel, on Michelle's YouTube channel? Because I don't often do it, but I just feel that actually there's quite a lot of information here, but I want to take my ego aside and just see what you guys think about that.
We would appreciate that, and we would highly recommend, as yes, this is your journeys individually. The work that we are doing with Michelle, the channeling, the downloads, is about the collective, is about the unfolding.
Yes.
And in the truth of what one shares, it is heard by many, many, many others. And this is not about only being serious in the deliverance of what we have to share, as there are so many things out there that are creating havoc in little humans' minds. So this is a time in the sharing of the realness of what is. And
Well, Michelle and I have, yes, carry on.
this is a time of determining the destiny of greatness. This is a time in determining in what is the resonance of the heart, the beating and the vibration. Not one of you as humans, and we have said this in many of Michelle's sessions to her clients, the heart is not having to be told how to beat, where to pump the veins, where to pump the blood into the body. It just does automatically. Hence these downloads, these channelings, these vibrations, these appreciations, these coming togethers, is where humans are very much seeking and seeking and seeking for the simplicity and the truth.
See, Michelle and I love this more than anything. We just want to help, and both of us don't want to come across as, look at me, because it's not about that. And that's always almost a way that we don't give out, because we just don't want to be judged or seen to be doing things in the wrong way, because we know how it comes from our heart. So I suppose it's a case of us growing a backbone and getting stronger and learning, as you said, to walk the talk of me teaching people to be strong and not worry about what other people think. But it's sometimes a little bit easier said than done.
Absolutely, and we are of this understanding as we have once walked the earth as Nelson Mandela's energy, and we come through as Nelson Mandela's energy, as he was a change bringer within the human consciousness. Yet for those who do not know his background and his story, he was once a man of fierceness. He once was a leader of intense meanness. And he was a fighter. He was a striver for difference. Yet it took him 27 years to sit in a confined space to bring about the change.
Yes.
And we are not for 1 second saying it's now going to take 27 years. Yet change happens as change is felt and seen. So yes, please put the message out there, as changing is happening right now in this moment.
The change is happening right now. What could you tell the collective who are listening today to your words? What would you like to tell them how to deal with this current time? So many of them are struggling.
We see the struggle. We sense the struggle. Yet the struggle is within the minds, as there are many, 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 many opportunities that are arising from these times. There are many opportunities and options. There are always options within being a human, are there not?
Yes,
It
they
is
are.
as Michelle went to go and shower, as before the session she could have stayed without having to brush her teeth, yet it was an option that she chose. And we would highly recommend, which we have said many times before, through your guidance, through Michelle's guidance, through Elba's guidance, find your joy. What brings you joy? What creates that spark? As the cavemen did many years ago, they had to create a spark in order to have a fire, in order to cook their food. What is that spark? Is it the clicking of the fingers? Is it the harmony in the voices? Is it the singing? Is it the laughing? Is it the togetherness? Is it in the work that one does with others? Is it in the holding hands? Is it in the hugging? Is it in the feeling of a child's soft skin? Is it in the feeling of stroking one's hair? Is it in the feeling of a reconnection to oneself? There are so many examples we could give, Jill. We would highly recommend that each individual stop talking about this lower vibration, this density of this virus. Stop saying the C word, stop saying the V word, stop saying and talking about the anti-vaxxers and the vaxxers, the non-vaccines, vaccines and the vaccines, the who are you, who are you, who are you, who are you, how dare you, how dare you, how dare you, why didn't you, why didn't you, why didn't you? It is in the feeling of the acceptance. I see you. I hear you. I feel you. I love you, regardless of the choices. As if Michelle didn't brush her teeth this morning, would it have made a difference to you, Jill?
Oh, absolutely. Not. Often I put
Exactly.
perfume on when I'm going to Zoom and I think they're not even going to smell me, but then I think, oh, it makes me feel good.
There
So
you go.
the
You
joy.
hear? Exactly. You do it for you. And it is exactly in that we'd like to finish. Do what feels good for you. As in the feeling good, the vibration will shift. The vibration will change. Let go of all the labels. Let go of who eats what, when they want to eat it. Many people come from pain and suffering and they do not feed their faces out of being oblivious. They stuff down their pain, as does one who takes drugs, as does one who drinks lots of alcohol, as does one that gets incredibly overwhelmed. It's in the old ways of being. Hence, people are seeking to lift and shift and share and feel. Yet, as you are aware, Jill, as Michelle could have woken up this morning and gone, I'm okay, I'm feeling okay today. Yet she knew that there was more to this. She has been a Trojan on her horse as you have been a Trojan on your horse, as many others. And we only share this as an example about you and her. And it is not only about you and her, it is about the collective consciousness. It is about everyone that is doing the work that resonates with them. And no more finger pointing.
Just own yourself. Joy.
Absolutely. Put your
Wonderful.
noses back in your own business. and be aware as to who wants more and more and more and more and more. In a message that goes backwards and forwards, and 20 messages later, each person is in their vibration, in their own individual, opinionated place.
Yes.
It is that simple. If it does not feel good in your space, in your body, in your vibration, let it go. I thank you for this time of reconnection. It is that simple. Just owning yourself is that. I thank you for this time of reconnection. It seems that we are in a different place right now.
Yeah.
I
Take a
send you
holiday.
love, 100%.
Fantastic. So will Michelle and I do this again? Is this something that we should do again, or is this a one-off? What is it that you think would be a good idea?
This is something that we would highly recommend to be an ongoing gathering where you get the downloads as you do. And this will be very different, Jill. We feel this is an important time to let you know that this will be very different in the work that you and Alba have put together in your books, in your time together, in your healing sessions. It's very different. And we would say, in the vibration of what Michelle feels in her body, in her field, it feels amazing. And if it feels amazing, Jill,
Yes.
then yes, that is where the interaction, the connectedness comes together. And we would highly recommend that if people have questions, please share your questions so that we can answer them.
Okay, that's very good. So what would you actually like to call this particular session?
Fact finding.
Fact finding. Okay,
Yes.
very good. Wonderful. Okay, are we complete?
We are done for today, Jill. We thank you, we honor you, and we send you many, 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 many amounts of little hearts. As you know, Michelle's language is hearts.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Namaste. We thank all of those that are listening. We thank all of those that are coming together. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you until we meet again. And Michelle, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And when I reach 3, you are going to feel fabulous. 1, starting to stretch and come back to your body. 2, opening up those big, gorgeous brown eyes. And 3, wide awake, and wide awake. Welcome back.
Okay. Jeez.
So while you're still in sort of like that kind of land or landscape, what would you like to tell people that are listening?
That you are worth it. If you have an inclination, if you have a moment in time where you may receive a message from somebody, from a friend, from a loved one, that says, hey, have you read this book? Or, hey, have you heard about this on YouTube? And I'm not talking about this with you and I, just something that's shared with you. A lot of times things are shared with me and I think, I don't know if I'm ready to watch it, or don't know if I'm ready to read it. But I know that it's come into my consciousness, my awareness for a reason. And take on board what resonates and what doesn't resonate. We're all finding our own way. That's what I'm discovering. Aren't you discovering the same thing, Julie?
Yes, I am, and I'm getting sent a lot of the same material, and a lot of it is stuff that I actually don't want to even look at, because I'm finding that when I'm learning to get rid of certain stuff and make those choices for myself, I'm feeling better within. But I used to do it because I thought that I had to.
Yeah.
To watch and listen to everything and everybody's, and I've been guilty of that. I've also, if I see something, I think, oh, and I get on my high horse and I send it to 10 million people that I love, and think, oh, this is it, this is it.
Yes.
But what is it really? We're so busy, and it's taking me time to do that, when in actual fact I should be out walking
Yeah.
or gardening or doing.
Yeah.
So this year I've decided to be less busy
Mm.
and more present.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's exactly it. It's taking that time to, for me as well, to go within. And it definitely takes work, man. It takes work in the sense of not being distracted. Just like I'm scratching a freaking sandfly bite now. That's distracting me, but it just feels so good. It's like, oh, that feels so good, So, like, and that's what happens when we get distracted. Like, okay, but it's also very different for me if you're going to make a conscious decision to not only go for a walk or go to garden or whatever, but like I love Netflix. I do. I love my TV. That's my time where I'm just taken into a different world. But I'm consciously aware of I'm going to give myself the time without feeling guilty. And but we're all working on finding the balance, I think. And what you're saying completely resonates with me too. I look at it, sometimes I look at the heading and I ask, is this what I need to watch? And sometimes I get a yes, sometimes I get a no. Sometimes I only watch 5 minutes, sometimes I watch 10 minutes and I go, okay, that's what I was meant to watch for today. Everything has a message though, hey?
yeah, so interesting, so
But
fascinating.
it's in the feeling though. It's in the feeling of, even in the grieving of my mom, you and I discussed this, how it really pissed me off that everybody thought that because I'm a medium, that I had no right to grieve her in the human heart.
Yeah, that, oh,
And
well, you can just connect, so that's
absolutely,
okay, but you still had to have that loving, tender, caring, everything else, treated just like anybody
100%,
else.
for
Yes.
sure. And I'm still grieving her. I have moments where some nights I cry myself to sleep, because I just miss her. I miss being able to speak to her. And I'll get this feeling of she's around and I'll hear her.
Yeah.
But it's still in the way I remember her to be. And and it's fascinating because in those times where people have gone, oh, but you're a medium, Michelle, you connect with spirit all the time. I've gone to a place of getting annoyed because I feel like going, really? Like I've never lost a parent before, so how am I supposed to know? It's teaching me so much though in how my old programmings can come up, because that like, really, I get annoyed because like, how dare you take away my experience? It's my experience.
But they're not. That's from them. They just,
Exactly.
you see, it's you're
Yes,
judging them for them
of
just saying
course.
this is what you do. Like,
Of course,
yeah,
absolutely. So you see how it's an old program, it's an old condition that comes up. And people in
yeah,
general, we want to make each other feel better. Whereas what I'm learning and have learned over many years is that it's in that moment of saying, wow, I don't know how this must feel. Or I've lost a parent. Wow, I can only imagine how you're feeling. That for me is holding space. But often we want to make others feel better and we take away that experience from that person. So we're all learning. I'm
yeah.
learning through this process myself too, and my sense is we're all going to learn until the day that we leave.
And why would we get upset with somebody who
That
can only
means
do what
well.
they do? And they
Exactly.
mean well. It's like saying, "Come on, fish, climb that tree." That's one of my
Exactly.
favorite things to say at the moment. Why would you get upset if a fish can't climb a tree?
Absolutely. But you know what it is? It's because I come from the expectation of that others will know.
Yeah,
Just
and
and
they
that's,
don't.
I think expectations are the biggest F-ups of time, to be honest, because they bring such disappointment.
Yes.
But
Have
it
no
is,
expectations, and then
yes,
everything is a present.
yes. And I think sometimes in us being and doing the work that we do, that's where a lot of people sometimes expect, I feel people expect us to know. Well, well, you know
Actually, we
better.
don't.
And
We
we
don't.
don't. We're
Yeah.
just being guided, we're being shown as we go along. And the beautiful awareness of what I realized earlier on is that we're showing spirit as much as they're showing us. They're guiding us as much as we're guiding them.
Okay, so let me give you an example quickly, and we won't keep the audience for much longer. But not last night, the night before, as I woke up with the words, the Guggenheim Express. And just before that, I was up on top of the clouds, and there were these other people doing amazing things. And I felt, oh, I'm not as fabulous as them. So what am I going to do? And I got the cloud and I started forming it. And there was a huge Pegasus. It became a big Pegasus, that winged horse. And they went, wow, how did you do that? And instead of saying, I don't know, I was like, oh, well, this is what I do. You see, even in my dreams, not wanting to show that I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I thought, what is the Guggenheim Express? I mean, is it Guggenheim? Do they have a train? I was thinking of an express train for some reason. And I typed in Guggenheim Express, and it came out as an express tour of the Guggenheim Museum.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
I don't know anything about that. So I said to Greg, wanting to share the experience, I said to him, how does this happen? Isn't it incredible? He goes, no. Obviously, you must have had it in your subconscious somewhere. You watched it or you heard it. And I'm going, no. Like, don't rain on my parade. Don't burst my bubble.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You see,
so,
there's an expectation where we just want the receiving or the honoring of, like, wow, Jill,
is that fabulous? How does
Yes,
that work? You know?
yes. See, because you and I would do that, so we expect our partners to do the same, which isn't fair to them.
Yes. And then you get annoyed because the fish can't climb the tree.
Well, and in your words, what? You're an apple and I'm an orange, or you're a kiwi fruit and I'm a guava. It's like
And
we're
both
different. We're
are
different segments of different fruits.
important.
Yeah.
So,
So,
Michelle, thank you so much for your session today.
thanks, Julie. Thank you, my friend.
Hey,